Here we are. We have the subject of parnosa. I think that that's what basically the whole parsha of Behar discusses. People in financial difficulties, how to deal with your produce, how do we look at our financial situation. And there's interesting Gemara. The Gemara tells us that it wouldn't have been enough if HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out of Mitzrayim just so we shouldn't borrow land with ribbis. Why is ribbis such a central subject in Yiddishkeit? This is a question which I would like to say over what the Olam HaChasidim answered to this question, and I think it'll give us a little bit of important perspective on our avodah min adam mechaveroi. What is the purpose of living in Eretz Yisrael? What's supposed to happen? What's supposed to be unique about the way one lives in Eretz Yisrael? The Ramban tells us in Eretz Yisrael, theoretically, we could live in a environment where everybody has what they need, and they'll be able to do all the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that they want. Ish tachas gafna v'tachas te'enoi is not a biblical way of saying sitting under your air conditioner and be going next to your swimming pool. That means you're supposed to be in Etzol, tilling the ground, working the land for a purpose. What is the purpose? The purpose is that we should actually serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu properly, and a person has to make a decision. And there's a decision that has to be made by people who have money when to stop working. The Chafetz Chaim, when his wife and him had a makolet, so people used to come to buy things, and they made a cheshbon how much money that they needed to work, and they closed the makolet for the rest of the time, because we're not here to make money. We're here in order to be able to survive. Once you're able to survive, the rest of your time you're supposed to be spending on ruchnius. So a person has extra money, possibly he's working too much. Because we're not here to amass wealth, we're here to amass mitzvahs. This is the subject of this week's parsha. Just think about it. A person has a business, and the business is thriving, everything is going good, and he finally got things down pat, and now he has to stop and take a break. Nobody wants to do that. I had the following question, halachic question last year before Pesach. There was somebody who started a business on the internet, and they were selling items that were chametz, and there was a question how to work it out that you shouldn't be over on the isser of owning and selling chametz. This guy was a good Jew. What is a good Jew? A Jew makes money without having anything to make money. What he did, he bought and he sold, but he didn't have any stock. And this way he didn't have to pay for any kind of storage. And he figured out a way that he was able to do this, a very good business. I'm not going to tell you what he did and however he did it. If you want to know, you ask me in person, and maybe we'll sell you the secrets for a high price. I'm just joking. We're not going to sell any secrets. But anyways, the bottom line was that a person, I told him, just close down your website for Pesach. What's the big deal? So he said, I can't close my website down. Why? Because when you go to look for these items on the internet, they list you in it depending on how much business you do. So if I'm going to close down for 7 days, my sellings are going to drop, and I'm going to lose my selling power for the next month. I'm going to have to rebuild my whole business if I'm going to not sell on Pesach. So here you have a fellow who's being successful in his business, and he's forced into a question of an Isayan. Why? Not because he wants to sell on Pesach. If I'm not going to sell on Pesach, then I'm not going to be able to sell the week after Pesach. I'm not going to be back in business until Shavuos. So this is the fellow who got his field working for 6 years, and now you tell him, take your time off and let the weeds grow. You know how long it takes to get rid of weeds? And they can let weeds grow for a year. Anybody who ever had weeds knows what I'm talking about, and it's painful. But the bottom line is we're not in control. Not only not in control, we have to realize that you made enough money, you have enough money in the 6th year to make it through the 7th and the beginning of the 8th. You have no right to be working. You have no right. Why are you working? A person comes to borrow money from you. So the Chafetz Chaim tells us in Avos Chesed that if you have the money and you need it for your business or whatever it is, You're not mechuyev to lend him. That's called you don't have money. You have money in your pocket. That's true, but that money is earmarked for some purpose, and you need that purpose. If that purpose is your business, whatever that purpose is, that's called a legitimate reason, and you're not obligated to lend the money to somebody else because you don't have money. You have money in your pocket, but that money is not available money. It's not what we call a liquid asset that a person can get rid of. Not only that, so in that situation, if a person has money and the money's extra, he doesn't need it for something, and then a Jew comes along and he says, I would like to borrow money from you. What are you supposed to tell him? Why should I give it to you? I could be making more money. Or should I say, I have money and I'm not using it. Chaval, it should be sitting in my bank. Chaval, it should be being used by another Jew. So this has to do with the person's perspective. If your perspective is that you only make money to live and the rest of the time you use in your service on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so then you'll see that money as extra, and it's, excuse the expression, an aveira not to do a mitzvah with it and just let it sit in your bank. Whereas a person who thinks that his purpose in life is to make money, every single penny that you have, you could use it for something else. And I would just like to add an idea which I believe is very important. There's sometimes people who have to put away money because they need it for something. They want to make a chasna, they have to add on to their house, and they have money, and the money is not available for real. But it sometimes is available in short term. And there are many people out there that really would like to lend the money, but they can't. You know why? Because they're afraid to deal with certain kinds of people that you lend the money to, that you may not see the money back so soon. It may take you a while, and you feel uncomfortable asking them for the money. There was once a fellow who lent money to somebody else, and the other person was some kind of a shyster, and he wasn't giving the money back. So he said to Rabbi Zachariash, what should I do? I said, you should ask the guy to give your money back. So he said, I should ask him? Shouldn't he know to pay me back? I said, yeah, he should, but he's trying. He doesn't have the money, so he's pushing you off. So I can't do that to somebody else. I don't know if that money was ever collected. Those people have that problem. There's a shliach that can run this for you called the gemach. You can deposit your money in the gemach, and the gemach will take care of the administration of borrowing and lending the money. I will say the person who does it himself, that deals with the other person, he has a greater mitzvah vadai by doing so. But the bottom line is, you have the money, it's available to you. It's a waste for it to be sitting in your account and you're getting on it 1%, 2%. If you could lend it to a Jew and you could be getting on it, olam haba. Sometimes you want to live on the interest. I'm not discussing that right now, but I'm just talking about the money that's sitting on the side waiting for that day. If it's waiting for that day, so if your purpose in life is making money, you look at that as an asset. And if your purpose in life is in order to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're looking to see how is it I could use this in the best way possible. So I suggest, and actually the Chassidim say, the purpose of this week's parshas is to tell you how a person should visualize his financial state. A person sees a friend of his that's in a difficult situation. The halacha is, don't wait for him to reach out to you and say, maybe you could give me a loan. Be preemptive. Go to him in advance and offer him a loan. I was thinking about that Rashi, and I was trying to figure out what is Rashi coming to tell us. And I think that there's a Yetzer Hara that everybody likes to be the guy holding the cards close to his chest. Everybody likes to be in control. So when somebody comes to me and he says, I need a loan, can you please give it to me? So that you feel like the king of the castle. You feel very important. So even though you're not getting ribbis, but this person came on to you and he's going to look at you as his benefactor. If you go over and say, maybe I could offer you a loan, he's not going to feel the same amount of gratitude. So, excuse the expression, you're losing out. You could have got a better deal. You could have got more olam hazeh out of this money. How could you got more olam hazeh out of this money? If you would have had the guy come and ask you for the money. If you go and offer him the money, so then you got a bum deal for your buck. You didn't get as much as you could have gotten out of it. But that depends why you have the money. If you have the money in order that you should be able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there isn't a better deal than that than to give it to a person in a way that he doesn't feel beholden to you. You did an ultimate chesed. You gave it to him in a way that he feels less fragile. He feels more empowered, and that's a greater mitzvah. So here we have the mitzvahs in this week's parsha that are telling us about buying and selling things. How long does ownership last? Tul yovel, not tul yovel, because nothing in this world is for keeps, because the keeps of our existence is the olam haba. The keeps of our existence is not about the things that are happening here in this world. This is a lesson which I think is important to keep in mind at this time. I just want to mention that we're at a time that many people, the euphoria of the new lifestyle, if you want to call it that. Yes, there was a lifestyle that was in Treblinka, that was in Auschwitz. There were lifestyles in all kinds of places. People, the lifestyle is lightening up, and people are not looking at others as they did before. And sometimes you may have a neighbor who's infirm, who's elderly, whatever it is. You say, I already helped the guy out for a month, and already things are getting loose. Let the guy go to the store himself, etc. Now, after this amount of time that people felt that they came on to you, it's harder for them to ask you to do them a favor than it was a month ago. A month ago, everybody was keyed up. What kind of schusim do we need? What can we do to get ourselves out of this? They were doing it b'simcha. Now it's hard for him to ask you. Now is the time, that person who has a difficulty because of the present situation. Now is the time, whether it's financially, whether it's to do shopping for him, whether it's sometimes just to give him a call and let you know that he exists. Because there's some people that were just like wiped off the map. We don't see them, we forget about them, and a person who does have a chazak, you did an unbelievable mitzvah, and that mitzvah shows that you understand that the purpose is not to get the best deal that you can. The purpose is to make sure that somebody else can have it the best that they can. May we be zoicha that next Shabbos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be merachim on all of us. And now, I just would like to mention something which I think is very important. There's a Chassam Sofer which I never saw inside, but I heard it at a shiva once, and it's extremely frightening. Many times people that are in the hospital, that are sick, before they die, they rally, and then they die. The Chassam Sofer says the reason why this happens is because people are davening and davening and davening, and we hear the guy is getting better, so people slack off on their tefillas. People slack off on their tefillas, so then the Malach HaMovis has an ability to bang, to go and get the guy. We are in a situation, we see something lightening up. The Yetzer Hara is trying to get us to be more lax in our avodas Hashem, in our tzedakah, in our tefillah. Now is the time to be more diligent, and in Mitzvah Hashem, we can turn this around, that we should be post our situation, and we should be post our golos, and Mitzvah Hashem, we should have our Shemitah soon in Eretz Yisrael, and we should see no tsar, not us, or anybody around us. We should all be zeichet to start off with a good Shabbos, and some of you maybe will see you on Shabbos. Okay, good Shabbos to all of you.
Shabbos,
Good Shabbos.